All right, so the next big one that we're going to talk about is not trying to always win, or really not necessarily trying to win in practice. Couple reasons is a lot of times if you're always thinking about trying to win, um, and you're constantly trying to win, constantly trying to win. Sometimes you're just not going to win. Sometimes you're going to have rough days. Sometimes guys are going to catch you, and you're going to get in a negative mindset a lot of times as far as um, your training, you feel like you're not doing well, things like that. And so if you can take that back and say, okay, I'm always going to try to learn as much as possible, that's going to be a different mindset. So even that way, if somebody taps you out, things like that, they're showing you something that you want to improve. So it's a big difference whether or not you want to, be submitted and tapped out in practice, or if you wanted to be submitted and tapped out in competition. Me personally, I would rather be submitted and tapped out 1,000 times in the practice room, and then when I go out and compete, I don't get tapped out at all. I win, blah blah blah. But a lot of guys, they go into practice trying to make that a competitive thing every single time. One, you're going to be at a higher risk of injuries just because you're going out, full bore every single time. And two, while you may feel good, 80, 90% of the time, what's going to happen is, that 10 or 20% of the time that you get beat, it's going to have a negative reinforcement on you, and it's going to be hard to come back from. But if you can come back and you can say, hey, I'm going to try to learn from every single training session that I can, maybe putting yourself in bad spots. If you're starting to do really well with competitions, or excuse me, with training sessions, or maybe I'm going to try to see what this guy did to me, or ask him questions, things like that. Really try to make it a learning session as much as possible, rather than, okay, this is the guy that the next 5 minutes I'm just going to dominate this training partner. Then the next 5 minutes I'm going to go out there and dominate this guy. I do think that there's times when you need that, especially when you're getting ready for competition, because it's a definite mental change, and then also a speed change, if you will, going from learning to competing. But for the most part, especially this early on in the stage, it should almost be 100% learning stage and just trying to get yourself better, rather than trying to be competitive with some of the other guys. Just because, like I said, chances are they've been doing it a lot longer, and that if you do lose, sometimes that can have a negative feeling towards you, rather than having a good feeling about it because you've learned something from that. So that's the biggest one in this particular section. Just trying to take away from not trying to always win in the practice room, but always trying to learn in the practice room.